Okay, here's the Nissan 2013 3.5 liter V6. Changing the spark plugs. I'm going to skip through some of the steps as far as, doing every step individually. I'll show you the steps, but I'm not going to show each piece of every step just because that would take forever. So, these two bolts here come out, and those are a 5mm 5mm hex head bolt, and once you get those pulled, then this just pops up. One there, and there's another one on this side. Just gotta give it a little tug, and it pops right off. Set that up there. Got the bolts down here. Now the spark plugs on the front, there's 1, 2, 3. I've unplugged them already, and the plugs are off, pulled off of here. And then I'm going to loosen these bolts, these 3, pull these out and change the spark plugs. And then I've got to pull the intake off, which is going to be these bolts. Sorry, you can't see it. This bolt here, here, over here, over here, and I believe that's going to be it. We'll see when I get in there. And then there's 3 more spark plugs. There are 3 more spark plugs. There's one right, I can't see my finger. One right there. And then they're going to go in succession 2 and 3 over back there. So bear with me. I will show the process kind of as it goes, and we'll see what we can get done here. So now these guys are a 10mm socket. Just loosen them up. Should pop up for us. I didn't like the way that sounded. What was that? Apparently they have a little fuse that goes down in there. Alright, so when you pop this off, this, alright, let's see here. Alright, so when I pop this off, the rubber gasket didn't come with it, so I had to pop it off. And there's a fuse down inside here you gotta make sure you get out. And then you just take a pair of pliers, grab this tube, pull it out, and down inside there is the spark plug. Okay, the gap on these is supposed to be 44 thousandths. I've gapped this one. What I did find is because of the way, if I can get this to focus, what I found I needed to do is grab the back of this. I need to grab it right here. Grab this thing with some pliers and pull and bend it backwards to open up that gap instead of prying inside the gap here. So if you're used to prying inside the gap, that doesn't really work with these. You need to use a pair of pliers. Otherwise it mushrooms out the ends and they're not going to arc as well. And to install them, the spark plug socket that I bought did not work at all for me. So I'm having to use this tool. It allows you to reach hard to reach places to put stuff, pick stuff up. And so anyway, so this tool, whoop, if I can get it to stand still for you. This tool actually works pretty well for grabbing stuff deep down inside hard to reach places. So that's what I'm using to put these back in with, as well as take them out. Put the socket in, make sure you got it lined up, and then just start lightly and easily rotating until the threads grab. Crank it down, and then we'll tighten it up. And again, to get one out, reach down here with this guy, grab it, pull it out. And another word of caution on these is that when you're going to pull them out, it's best, while they're in here, it's best if you give them a twist and try to grab all the way down as far as you can to twist this rubber piece as well, so that it comes out as one unit and doesn't split apart right here. Now it's hard to see where my hand is back here, but there's a bracket right there, and then my socket's right back there, and there's a bolt on the end that you have to undo back here to get that out. That undoes the bracket back there. There's a hose. This hose right here hooks up right there. I don't know if you can see my finger moving. This hose right here. And this hose right here, I don't know if we can get the focus, there we go, hooks up right there to this tube right here. And so those three things have to be done, have to be undone on the back. And on the front, you have to disconnect these two from these two right here. And then you just have to disconnect these three, or these two cables, or two wires, and just let them hang out. And then this one down here has to be unhooked. And then this guy has to be unhooked from here. And once all that's out of the way, throttle body's off. It's now ready to pull the plenum completely off. Alright, so that got the intake plenum. This is the intake flipped upside down. Here it is right set up with everything still attached. I just turned it upside down so as not to get too much dirt inside there. And then here's the intake. So it needs a little cleanup. Other than that, looks pretty good. And here are my other spark plugs. So just like on the front side, you just loosen up these bolts, these 3 bolts, pull the coil packs, and then pull the spark plugs.
That's not so bad, is it?
No. Once you get the plenum off, it's actually easy to get to these.
Good call.
It's a little dirty. But that's where the spark plug is in the back. Undo these 3 and put it back together. I did find on the back side this setup with 2 short extensions and a 9/16 spark plug socket to be the perfect length to get down in there and get these spark plugs loosened up. That guy back in. These are some long winded ones. Bracket made a pain in the butt on that one. Here's that. Goes to here. Exciting. Beautiful. Done.